So as a teeny tiny introduction, Sara and I have been connected on Twitter now for about a year. We both engage in the same tweet chat. If you're not in it, LTHE tweet chat is really good. You get to find out about all this kind of super exciting practice that people are doing across the field. And Sara's kind of augmented reality stuff is so exciting and so accessible. Genuinely, it's I think it's one of the most exciting bits of practice happening in HE at the moment. So really grateful that she's agreed to come and talk to us.
What an introduction. I am delighted. Thank you very much. I will share my desktop now if you don't mind. So my presentation is made in Canva. Really cool graphic tool. Don't know if you're using it. If not, I strongly encourage you to. So today I'm really going to be talking about smart, quick and easy solutions, because augmented reality can go in depth. It can become really overwhelming for practitioners because no one has time, no one has funds, and no one has really a lot of willpower to go in that deeply and just learn a whole new tool from scratch. So what I'm going to show you today doesn't really require a lot, and it's just going to be a quick showcase of everything you can do. And I'm even going to show you a little video in the end where there's a demo of how to do things. So buckle up, we can do this. First of all, to tell a little bit about myself, because I'm aware that not many people know. My name is Sara, and I'm actually a PhD researcher in Edge Hill University. I'm finishing this PhD really quickly now, which is inspiring and motivating. I've started this as a project for primary education, so my research is primarily primary education based, but those tools that I've created ended up being super useful and actually interesting for all levels. And that's how I ended up doing what I'm currently doing and what I'm going to show you today. And that's AR in higher education practice. So you can see from a little introduction that I had an opportunity to show all of this all around. So in some schools in the UK, of course, then some universities, my previous universities in Latvia, Croatia, Serbia, and around, and then in some education technology conferences, which took me all the way to South Africa and stuff like that. But everyone has literally same problems and same attitudes when it comes to augmented reality. So I'm gonna tailor this for you that you can kind of get immersed in it. Before we start, I wanted to show you this nice little definition of what augmented learning is. So augmented technology and augmented reality has a lot of like computer science definitions, and I do prefer these ones, which are actually focusing on educational practice. And this one talks about extending our learners' point of view, their perception, their interaction with the environment they have, with the content that we are presenting, which again then offers opportunities to transform their learning. It's really powerful in my opinion, but I'm going to let you decide on that, because it kind of looks in practice like this. When we talk about higher education, most common use is definitely anatomy, medical science, all those things that are really easy and nice to visualize. So moving from all those old models, when we had, I don't know, a model of a heart that you break into different elements and then you search online for, search inside for some different kinds of structures. Now you can see it all in your device, and you can just click on which set of organs or which system you want to see, which is much easier, I would say, and also very cheap, because you don't need to have, I don't know, 100 sets for all pupils. They can now do it at home if you're doing it online. Same goes for like chemistry, for electric circuits, for all those things that you can easily visualize. But we're now working more on things that maybe don't come to your mind directly as something that could use augmented reality, like literacy, like maths and those kinds of subjects. But they work really well because it opens up this whole area of creativity. So if we flip it to our students, they can be the ones creating content as well. Right, so I'm going to show you what I usually hear from teachers seeing that kind of stuff. Of course, the main quote is, "What kind of sorcery is this?" It looks very overwhelming, very like innovative, advanced, like there's a lot of coding involved, but actually it does not require coding, it does not require technical knowledge, and it does not take forever to create, I promise you. Most of the things can be free to use because there are educational licenses for you to use. Don't be afraid to ask for one if you have found a platform that you like. I personally use Blipper, the orange one, just because their interface is so easy to navigate. So you just drag and drop. You'll see it later in the demonstration. But you also need to be careful about startups, because working with a startup or using their software, then creating all your materials, at some point their company disappears together with all your materials, and you're in a kind of a bad situation for your rest of the teaching year. So have these things in mind. But if you need more ideas of what you can use, I'm happy to, you know, put that in chat later. Yeah, to actually share some ideas. I always start with problems because that makes the whole technology integration meaningful. So I understand that we can make really fun, engaging materials, something that's fun to manipulate and stuff like that. But for actual good practice, we need a problem that we're solving so that it has a purpose. First one that I was solving was assessment guidance, which in my program that I was teaching in, it was 6 to 8 pages of PDF of only text, black and white, absolutely awful. I don't know if you have the same experience. I'm kind of guessing some universities are still at that kind of model. So I wanted to make it a little bit more engaging for students of in the first year of their studies. So I made this summary that you can see on the right-hand side. Each part of that paper, they could, of course, print and maybe, you know, just place somewhere near their desk. Each element that has an orange border can be scanned. That kind of tells them what to scan, and it includes referencing guide. It's got examples of that assessment. It's got some how-to guides made by our learning services, direct links to those services, maybe people that they can email, their email buttons, all sorts of things, all fitted on a one sheet of paper, which is really useful from 2 points of view. First one is that basic information, everything they need to know to be able to do this assignment is already on that paper. So if technology is not working, or if they cannot access all the overlaid content, they can still see all the basic information or read the original one. And if they have some internet, they can just scan it with an app, which then saves it as offline material too. So that's not an issue. But from their perspective, so what students said, that it was really, really helpful, easy access. They said it was quick, which I really liked. Some of them said that, that same old problem of signing into their VLE, then signing it somewhere else to their email, sending it to this and that to actually access what they need right there. It was like a speed dial, some of them said. And someone even said it was really sustainable and environmentally friendly, eco-friendly, because we didn't use 6 sheets of paper, just 1. So all these kind of details and ideas is what you can use for assessment guidance. I don't know if you think that you would use that or something, feel free to just drop it in the chat. I'm happy to answer questions about that later as well. But before that, I want to show you 2 more things. So idea number 2 is schedules and calendar, more of an interactive way of using this. So you can see how it looks on a device. That's a master schedule for one of our students, for one of the groups on the module. And they have different weeks, different sessions. And when they scan that box for the session, it shows them, PDF that they can download of the reading that they need to do, maybe PDF with a PowerPoint presentation that's going to be shown. There's just this one. For the example, I did put this little circle that says room change. So in case something was changing urgently, you can always add that immediately, and it shows on every single device, on every paper that was previously printed. So if there are changes to a schedule and someone didn't print the newest version, this solves the issue. And yeah, that kind of makes it easy to communicate in a way, because there's also, if you can see down there, it says email tutor. That's a button, which also when you click on it, it generates an automatic email, which you can of course edit as a student, but it has an address of their tutor and maybe a subject like I'm going to be late or something like that. You need to of course train your students to scan those things, otherwise it doesn't work. But once you've passed that point, it becomes a really useful communication channel as well. We didn't do that a lot. That was just a little pilot to see if it would work, because we would have to go and fit that kind of practice into our existing digital strategy, and also be careful about data management. It's good to access materials and maybe links to Zooms and Teams and stuff that people can lose. That's somewhere in your email. But I found it really useful for those kinds of instant changes like room change, or just an opportunity to email a tutor is good. It's better than needing to sign into so many different places. So those are two ideas that come to my mind as something that solves the issue you have. But the third idea is more like an open showcase of things that you can do. If you flip this classroom or this practice back to students and inspire them and empower them to engage with actual creation of AR content, which happens anyway, because once they see the materials, they want to create them themselves. They want to see how it was done. They're curious about something that they've just seen new and exciting. And you would actually get surprised on how well they do it. They're quite aware of AR because it's used for all the filters, for everything on social media they're already using. This is putting a different perspective to it. They can understand that it can be used for educational purpose. And it also shows you that it can be an innovative way of assessment. How would that be? I did something it was 3 months ago. Okay, 3 months ago. No, actually 5 months ago. Wow. In March, there was Earth Day, and of course there was an exhibition that had to take place and it was cancelled. So I've transferred the whole thing into a digital exhibition. You can do a digital exhibition for maybe students' work, or if they're making like a poster, it can be an academic poster showcase as well, where people, when they access this kind of material, so they would be in the middle of this sphere that you're seeing, and they can turn around with their mobile phone or with a headset, whatever they're using, and see all these images that are placed around. There can also be a 3D 360 image panorama that surrounds it. So you can create a whole exhibition of things, and you can also allow your students to do it, which is exciting in my opinion. It also it mainly develops their skills, which you never know might become their future career. But it gives them a little bit of freedom, and it's also good for their well-being. It's creative. It's something that's not usual study. They don't feel it as a burden. That's what I heard from students who are working with me. But also, if you have time, you could explore different shapes and uses. I do teach education, so that means that my students have an opportunity to create materials for their future pupils, maybe primary school, and that's really exciting for them. We're making shapes like this, if you can see on the camera. I'll show you them later. That's like a paper pyramid and maybe like a fidgeting toy. Each face or image that you see on every single material I've shown here actually can be interactive and show you some digital content. Also, if you're thinking about wider audience and maybe co-creation of materials, you need to be careful about accessibility. Being careful is not that difficult with AR because there are so many options. I usually put audio as like a verbal feedback or verbal read-along, read out loud option for maybe some text that I'm using, which is good for students who might be struggling, who might have dyslexia or something. There are options to add different languages as well. So it's all really easy, and actually it's not time consuming because you can reuse those materials year after year and just maybe modify a few bits if it's happening. You don't have to print out new materials. You don't have to re-edit all your documents. It's just right there in real time. Right, so I would like to show you how it's done in a little demonstration. That's the video, and it takes like 3 minutes, but this is an actual Blipper website. And you can see here how I'm gonna make a business card, AR business card. So that's just something to show you. When you start using it, it's gonna ask you for a marker. Marker is something in real environment, like that business card that I would probably print. You choose what you want to overlay on. That's a marker. Once you click continue, it shows you that image as your dashboard. It does take a lot of internet. So here you can see that image that we've placed as our base. You can navigate it on that little menu. On the left-hand side, you have everything that you put, all the content that you put on, from different kind of widgets, links, and 3D models. So if I pick a pyramid, on the right-hand side, I can put all kinds of modifications. I can change colors. I can add links, textures, whatever I feel like. And this little navigation menu allows me to move it, to resize it. Those 3 buttons you're probably going to use a lot if you do it. You can see I'm not really writing any kind of code. I'm just editing as I go. It's intuitive. It's like you upload image that you want to place, and then you move it around on this net. All your keyboard shortcuts work. So if you want to copy paste something, it works really easily. Control-C, Control-V. Everything that you used to really works. And just to show you how this would work, there under widgets, you have all the links to social media that you might use. And in learning, there's a PDF button, which is really useful. Since this is a business card, I would probably use LinkedIn button and other buttons. On the right-hand side, you can see that there needs to be a link for that profile that you want to connect it to. So I'm now copying the URL for that link. And as I place it in that little box on the right-hand side, it's done. So I can now pick a different button and technically do the same thing. So I'm going to show you probably Twitter more. Twitter is there. It's already designed the way it needs to be, but you can create your custom buttons as well. There's my Twitter page that I'm going to copy paste now. Same box. And as soon as you put it in, it works. What we're putting now is everything you're going to be, you can see on your phone when you scan this. All these buttons are clickable. You can put a website, which can also be your any link. So it can be YouTube, it can be your VLE, it can be some material that's available online, blog, or some web space that you're using with your students. It can be a link to research article. That's something I've been using before. So for stuff that you maybe are not allowed to put as a PDF, it's useful to do it that way. You can upload your own materials from your computer. It can be audio, video, 3D model, pictures, whatever. If this is a business card, maybe a little picture wouldn't be bad. Of course, you use a little tool to resize it. Again, really easy with those handles. You can, of course, set exact number, like dimensions and sizes, but this is just a little demo to show you. So if you would want to maybe put a video of your lecture, you can put it in 2 ways. You can put it as a video file. Need to make a bit of space. Perfectionist here though, yeah. Video button, which creates this kind of overview that you just click on. However, that means that whoever is watching will download the video, not as a file, but will take a little bit longer to load it. You can also put a direct YouTube link, and then it opens a video like this. That's, I think, my intro or something.
Sara, we've probably about hit the time now.
Yeah, I've got like 3 minutes and done, maybe 2, that's it. That's a workshop example, yeah. And I think that is it, actually. I need to check, but I think that's done. Yeah, it's just going to show now how to activate the whole thing. So preview and publish button. So this is all that can be seen from your phone when you open it. And if you click preview button, you choose a test code. Test code is something that someone needs to access it. It's like a password for Zoom. It's really useful for any kind of education work because you limit who can see it. not everyone who scans an image will see it, while publish button works without a password. And yeah, then you don't need a password. You can click on globally or locally to be visible when someone scans the image. And that is actually all. That's like in 3 minutes, all functions of this whole program. That I think sums it up. Yeah, it sums it up. If you have any kind of questions, I'm afraid that people might have a lot, but I'm happy to answer any. And here are my contacts. You can, connect with me on Twitter. I'm quite active now on Twitter. Also LinkedIn, or this email, my private email, or on the web page called Augmented Toys. That's where I've put all the tutorials for what I've done so far. And I'm gonna stop my sharing, I think, now.